Everyone wanted to share a little bit of insight into the mind of one of the loudest Bitcoin maximalists out there, somebody that knows very little about it, but is one of the loudest supporters of it out there. He's literally doing a podcast about it all the time, and hardly even uses the technology himself. Here it is. This is a Twitter direct message conversation that I've had with him. There was a little bit more before this, but you can see from here, I told him from here on, assume anything you tell me may be made public. If you don't like it, don't message me. And his reply, because previous to this, he was complaining about the fact that I made some of the crazy stuff that he said public. So he replies, share this, you're a cunt. So I let him know, name calling is not an argument, because it's not. And he's really, really mad because I support Bitcoin Cash because it works as peer-to-peer electronic cash for the world. And I think he's really mad that I don't support BTC because he owns BTC and he sees me as telling everybody, hey, BTC sucks as a payment method and it's not likely to become peer-to-peer electronic cash for the world. Bitcoin Cash is way more likely to that. It hurts his ability or his chances of making a whole bunch of money on the price of BTC going up in the future. And in fact, I think that's why most BTC maximalists hate me so much, is because they see me as maybe diminishing the chances of them, of there being a giant pump of BTC and them being able to sell their BTC for a bunch more fiat, because that's what most of those guys seem to care about, is like, how much fiat can I sell my BTC for in the future? For me, I'm interested in any cryptocurrency disrupting government's ability to control the economy and control the entire world's financial system. I want to see individuals in charge of their own money and not need permission from a bank or a government or anybody else. And I don't care if it's Bitcoin Cash that does it. I don't care if it's Ripple that does it. I don't care if it's Ethereum that does it. I don't care if it's BTC that does it. The reason I support Bitcoin Cash so loudly and work so hard at it is because today I think it has the best chance of bringing more economic freedom to the world and becoming this peer-to-peer electronic cash for the world. So anyhow, I told Peter, name calling is not an argument. And he goes, I'm not calling you names. From where I am, you are factually a cunt. Peter's British. Maybe cunt means something different in British English than it does in American English. Like, pretty clearly, I'm not a part of the female body as far as I know. That's the definition of cunt that I'm the most familiar with. So anyhow, he goes on to say, now take a screenshot and go tell your dwindling crowd on Reddit, right? So then tell everyone you were the first investor in Bitcoin, to then tell everyone you were a multimillionaire at 25 and that you've created loads of businesses. Keep telling everyone the same shit. Nobody cares. You know why? Because you have no ethics or backbone. That's why, and that's what matters in the end. You're a weak piss, Roger. Now F off with your failed fork, right? So I told him, name calling is still not an argument, right? Because he's been calling me names again. So, and then he replies, neither is compulsive lying. Right, and then he says, by the way, I'm working on a documentary called The Battle for Bitcoin about the scaling war. Despite you telling lies about me on Reddit, it will still be open for you to contribute to, right? And I told him, I said, you have so little understanding of the technology and the ecosystem that you can't recognize the difference between lies and truth. Have you ever set up your Lightning node yet, right? Because the last time I talked to him, he'd never even used Lightning Network. He'd never set up a Lightning Network node. He'd never set up a full node. He'd never done any of that ever the last time I talked to him before this. So he's out there with his podcast and on Twitter every day cheering for the Lightning Network and this, and he's never used any of it, because anybody that tries using it will realize that, oh my God, there's no way that this is likely to become usable as peer-to-peer cash for the world. Like, you basically have to have a computer science degree to get it all set up and running, or be a real computer nerd to do it. Like, your mom or your grandma or anybody that's not really deep into computers is not going to be able to get this set up and working. And it's unless they're using some custodial manner. And if you're just using some custodial manner, why not just use PayPal, right? Like, PayPal is way more usable than the Lightning Network, and just about everybody that's using the Lightning Network is using a custodial wallet where they don't have their keys themselves, aren't in charge of their own funds. So why not just use PayPal? Or better yet, use the Bitcoin.com wallet with Bitcoin Cash, and you do have custody of your own funds, and it's almost as easy to use as PayPal. So anyhow, I told him he has so little understanding of the technology and ecosystem. Have you set up your Lightning node? He goes, replies, it's funny watching you lose. I imagine Satoshi thinks you're a cunt too. And so I asked him again, have you ever set up your Lightning node yet? And then here he sends me a photo. I think this is one of those Casa nodes, a company that I'm pretty sure went out of business, that was trying to make it easier for people to buy for a couple $100 a full node, Lightning node thing. And he sends me another photo, right? I want people to be able to see this photo. Like, that's the face of Bitcoin core maximalism right there for everybody. Does that look like the type of guy that you want to take advice from on how peer-to-peer cash for the world? Maybe, maybe not. Not for me, though. So anyhow, he sends me a couple of photos, and he says, share that. another, expletive, right? So anyhow, he's getting what he wants. It's being shared. So I asked him, I said, is that a yes or a no? Have you ever set up a Lightning Network node? And then he sends me a kiss mark face. Maybe he's up like drinking in whatever time zone he is. Like, to me, this just seems really, really bizarre for this to be from any sort of like normal, reasonable person. So anyhow, I told him, based on your reply, I'll assume the answer is still no. You are so passionate about something you've never even used. And he replies, I have. I'm passionate about Bitcoin. You lose by trying to be a leader. There are no leaders, especially ones with no backbone. So like, to be honest, like I didn't want to be a leader for anybody at all. But when I heard about Bitcoin for the first time, I stuck my neck out and wanted the entire world to hear about it and start using this, because this was kryptonite to the state, right? This is the ability to put every single person on the planet in charge of their own lives, their own money, and their own future. And so I couldn't be quiet any longer. Whereas previously, maybe a few people will know this, so like I had been donating money before the invention of Bitcoin, a significant amount of money every month, like greater than $10,000 a month across a couple of different things. So maybe depending on what time of year, between 10 and 20 grand a month to various libertarian causes. And I told them, don't say it's coming from me. Don't tell anybody. Here you go. There it is, right? And then I did that for years and years and years quietly, because I just wanted to be left alone. But I was very, these ideas were very important to me, and I wanted to see these ideas spread. So I was doing that. So anyhow, when Bitcoin came along, I had to stick my neck out there, and now I've become a target for governments all over the world, just like, Julian Assange and Edward Snowden and anybody else that speaks truth to power. Better watch out. They're going to come for you. And I'm expecting that to happen for me as well at some point, as much as I would like that not to be the case. So anyhow, he says, you lose by trying to be a leader. There are no leaders, especially ones with no backgrounds. And the entire point of my philosophy is for everybody to lead themselves, right? I want people to lead their own lives, run their own lives, and not follow me or, Barack Obama or Donald Trump or anybody else out there. Like, run your own life and don't follow me or Peter McCormack or anybody else for that matter. Anyhow, he says, especially ones with no backbone. So I think my reply was good here. It says, what makes you think I have no backbone? Was it standing up for the last few years speaking out against the BTC full block policy while people like you attack me nonstop? Is that what someone with no backbone would do? And for anybody that follows crypto Twitter, you can see these Bitcoin maximalists just attack me day in and day out, and they call me a felon, and they call me, other bad words from Peter McCormack and all sorts of stuff. And even if I'm a total, felon and total bad guy, like that's not an argument about Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash works as peer-to-peer electronic cash for the entire world, and it works right now today. So anyhow, I said, is that what someone with no backbone would do? And he goes, no, he means Roger, of course. He goes, the reason you have no backbone is that you compulsively lie about people. You lie to the level of a psychopath. A lie is an evil act, and you can't help yourself, pathetic moron. So I told him, please provide me with some examples. I invite you to write a whole blog post on them with citations so I can write my rebuttal, right? Because I'm sure I've told some lies in my life, but I'm not I rarely lie. What do I need to lie about? So I'm the one out there speaking the truth. Like, the Bitcoin peer-to-peer electronic cash project for the world was hijacked, and it's turned into something that it wasn't. And we saw just Vitalik Buterin on Twitter a couple of days ago saying, Vitalik got involved around the same time I did. He remembers very clearly the entire goal of Bitcoin was to be cash, and this digital gold thing was just like a secondary thing, was not the primary thing at all. And so by using censorship and lies and propaganda, they managed to hijack the entire Bitcoin project. So anyhow, I told him, please provide me some examples. I'll invite you to write a whole blog post on them with citations so I can write my rebuttal. And he goes, nope, I've got better things to do than care about the future lies you will tell to cover your previous lies. Go and focus on your shitcoin that nobody is using, right? And so we talked about this before. So Bitcoin Cash is the second most used cryptocurrency in the entire world in terms of the native token being sent around each day. BTC is number one. Bitcoin Cash is number two, ahead of even Ethereum. So that's really, really amazing for Bitcoin Cash. So, and anyhow, people using different things are a good thing. Like, why would I want everybody in the entire world to drink Coca-Cola? I think people should be able to drink, Pepsi-Cola or Ice-Cola or root beer or Dr. Pepper. Like, have at it. Go for it. Drink whatever is the one that you like the most for you in your life. And if it's Bitcoin Cash, great. If it's something else, good for you. Have at it. So anyhow, he says, go and focus on your coin nobody is using. Ha, 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 ha. And it looks like I told him what I just told you guys, right? Bitcoin Cash is the second most used crypto in the world, and the Bitcoin.com wallet is the second most popular crypto wallet in the world too. So just so everybody knows, so I'm recording this on April 4th. I haven't reread any of this since March 21st, or around the time he was sending this. So this is kind of my first re-reaction to this after not having looked at it for a couple of weeks. So anyhow, told him Bitcoin Cash is the second one in the world, second most used one in the world. And I told him, I'll donate $10,000 to the charity of your choice if you write the blog post too, right? So like, here we are in a time where the government's like basically causing the next Great Depression all over the world by shutting down the world's economy. I'll donate $10,000 of my own money to the charity of Peter's choice there to help people in need. So he can choose the charity that he wants, and we'll help people with $10,000 there. And for those that don't know, I donate a significant amount every month. I don't need to brag about it. I do it because I want to, not because I have to or because I care about this sort of things. But like, Peter definitely pushed some buttons with me with this exchange here, and that's why I'm making a video about it, to draw attention to Peter's lies and just strange erratic behavior here. So anyhow, I told him I'll give $10,000 to charity of your choice if you write that blog post. He goes, nope, outside of my Bitcoin documentary, I don't want to give you any attention, right? Well, why is he text messaging me all the time? I won't put it all in this video, but if you look, I tweet once a day and I don't ever reply to any of the replies to my tweets out there. I just put whatever's on my mind for the day out there on Twitter, and there it is. Yeah, I see like, and I read some of the replies. I never reply to the replies, but I see like almost every day, he's not following me on Twitter, but he's replying to all of my tweets with more trolling and like, ad hominem attacks and that sort of thing. So anyhow, he's refusing to, write, he's busy texting me up a storm, calling me a liar here. In the direct messaging, but he won't write a blog post documenting any of the lies, even though I offered to give him $10,000 to the charity of his choice. I told him, it says, your action of commenting on so many of my tweets contradict your words above, right? So there it is. And he goes, it's fun to make fun of your BS, right? And I says, my offer stands for donating $10,000 to the charity of your choice if you make fun of my BS, right, via a blog post. Reminder, name calling is not an argument, right? Because he loves to call names, and that seems to be his, his go-to thing. Anyhow, he goes, no, lying isn't an argument, right? And so that was the end of it. So here we are. So like, this is a video with a public call for you, Peter. You claim that I'm such a big liar all the time. Go make a blog post about it, document some of my lies. And if you do that, I'm going to reply to that, of course, but even if your blog post isn't very good and I don't find your citations of me lying about things very compelling, I'll donate the $10,000 to whatever charity you do. So we can help orphans in the United Kingdom, we can help orphans in Africa, we can help people that have been laid off due to the coronavirus government reaction shutting down the world's economy. We can do whatever charity you want, Peter. So I'm really disappointed in your behavior and your name calling, and last time I've listened to your podcast, it's been a couple of months, but I saw that Kraken was sponsoring you. Like, Kraken, don't sponsor this sort of nutcase that's out there behaving like this in public. It really reflects badly on Kraken. And I'm I think I was their first investor in Kraken too, to be honest. If not, I was one of their earliest ones. And I've known the founder, Jesse, for, how old am I now? 40. So I've known him I'm 41. So I've known him 25 years or so, 24 years, somewhere in there. A long time. Anyhow, really disappointing to see this sort of stuff from you, Peter. Lying isn't an argument, you're right, but neither is name calling, and I want to see, what are these lies that you're saying? And just for some people that don't know, a couple years back, some other Bitcoin core maximalists put together a blog post saying that like, Roger's a compulsive liar and this and that, and I went through and refuted every single thing that they were claiming that I was lying about, and I gave the exact data and links and citations and this and that out there, and I'd love to be able to do that again, the same for Peter if he'll write that blog post, and we can give $10,000 to the charity of his choice. Anyhow, there you go, inside the mind of a BTC maximalist. There he is. Who do you want financial advice from? Who do you think is more likely to put forth arguments that'll bring more economic freedom to the world and improve the lives of every single person on the planet? The guy that is busy calling me a liar in direct messages, yet won't write a blog post about it when offered $10,000 to the charity of his choice to do so, to somebody that gives more than $10,000 to charity every single month. So there you go, Peter. Look forward to your blog post. I suspect you won't do it because you can't. Because there aren't anything out there. Maybe I lied to my mom as a kid. Did you eat the cookie? No. The elves came and ate the cookie. And I'm sure there's been some slightly bigger things than that over my life. But I'm definitely far from any sort of compulsive liars. So anyhow, look forward to the blog post, Peter. There you go. See everybody next time.